pleased tonight to welcome two poets and one accordionist, Mont Long, Steve Page, and Roger French. The first poet to read would be Stephen Page. Please, Stephen. He's the author of The Timber of Sand and Steel Dandelions. He holds two AAS from Palomar College, a BA from Columbia University, and MFA from Pennington College. He's a recipient of the Jess Cloud Memorial Prize for Poetry. You are welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Elvira, for introducing me. May I put this on a stand here? Can you hear it? Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. The first poems I'm going to read from tonight are from my first book, which is entitled The Timber of Sand, and it will be out in a second edition, bilingual, sometime very soon. And I dedicated that book to my wife, my lovely wife, Lydia. And the lovely thing about living in Argentina is the variation in topography. It's a very big country and has a lot to offer. So to travel around the country is a wonderful experience. If you haven't done it, if you've been here recently, I advise you to try to see as many places as possible. It's like turning the United States sideways, and it has just as much variety. You have the jungles in the north, you have the glaciers in the south, you have the desert, you have the wine country, you have the wheat belt, everything's wrong. This first poem is from, influenced by one of the travels, and it goes like this. Patagonia, few have ever crossed it, but we. Darwin did and stepped in bio-singularity. Titanic Tehuches erstwhile home there nomadically, and it was traversed by ancestors of pioneers Ushi. Semi-arid landscape that desiccates the eyes is roamed by rheas, guanacas, harriers, and wind. And wanderings reveal Hare, Corion, Tapec, and Snowmouth rivers to the ravenous and thirsty. The Went Ranch, protected from winter winds by toad hills, was affably warmed brimming with wine and food, and chill was dislodged under antique quilts. After trekking Merino Glacier that journeyed from the Andes, we chewed meat and flowers, attesting chunks of ancient rains returning to a lake. Excuse me. I had a cough drop in there. And another wonderful thing about Argentina is, which brings a lot of people here, is the tango. The music. So I love to hear it. One of my first experiences, a person I fell in love with was Adriana Varela. I don't know how many of you are familiar with her, but she has a very unique voice, very unique timbre, and she sings very good tangos. As the earth Once again circled the sun. We tasted cake and savored Barella's tangos, reminding me of long drives to the farm with the truck pulling us towards silence. As the moon wrapped the earth the 12th time, we lay on the beach while Mozart wrote Waves. Your nakedness, charming motion from blood and seed, as a new fate signals change in the sea. Protons fleetingly hold quarks and neutrinos, and 10 dimensions allow me limpidity to see you through even the enigma of dark matter. My gift to you will be eternal and temporal, as are laws that attract the large to the small, and strings that play infinity through the universe. The next couple of poems I'm going to read are from my second book of poems, which is entitled Still Dandelions. And that's going to be out in the second edition very soon also. These are poems that I like to call moment poems, or egoless poems, or selfless poems. An egoless poem comes from that half a second, or that second. Sometimes it lasts as long as a moment, especially in the aftermath of the thinking of it, when you find yourself connected to the natural world. You are no longer you, or you are no longer only you. You're a part of everything that is around you. And for some reason, something happens that brings you to that epiphany. It happens very quickly and it goes away very quickly. But if you're aware of it and you keep yourself open to it, it can happen to a lot. Sparrow songs. The sun slips behind the cliffs. Still pond. A lone beaver dips under. Drying aster, a tiger swallowtail opens its wings. Summer sun rising, a ragged man strides out the ivy-wrapped gate. A shrieking blue jay, out of the brush leaps a wild tomcat. The name Macbeth chalked upon the sidewalk. A black ant marches across it. Sunrise, among the ferns, black-eyed Susans. A breeze off the river, in my hand, a piece of sun-warmed wood. Full moon, a breeze shakes the leaf shadows. Reading Thoreau, as I turn the page, a titmouse whistle. The following two poems I'm going to read are from a book that I'm currently compiling right now, and they tell the tale of Jonathan, who is a rancher. And they're dedicated to Teresa, who is the wife of Jonathan. And it must be noted that all characters and places in these poems are fictitious, including Jonathan and Teresa. The epigrams that I prepared for this collection are, first off, and first and most important, is by Arthur Rimbaud. I is someone else. I in the poems is not me. And this one by Charles Olson. It behooves man now not to separate himself too jauntily from any of nature's creatures. And I think that's a pretty good thing to think about, especially how since we've known since the 70s that we're destroying the world, and we still haven't done a lot about it, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. We're realizing that the nature which in old literature was the enemy is actually our friend. We need nature. So, and this one by Allen Ginsberg, "The World Has a Soul." And this poem was entitled "Dear Santa Ana," and it was published recently in Extracts. Today I reconnected your telephone fax machine 1 week after I recovered it from the cattle thief. And today I spoke with the elderly lady who let her hogs run free upon your pastures, the 82-year-old neighbor who begged with palm held out for kindling from your wood. I told her we would speak about the matter later. A bathroom is bricking up alongside my matera, my plant-enclosed muse room, my idea room, my place where my desk is, the place where gauchos once stopped to take mate in front of the fire and nap dream meat, the place where I will never again reluctantly leave to piss out my daily coffee intake, the place that will soon be my self-enclosed patron office, the place where I will administer your affairs. Yesterday I drove to the neighboring town of Lobos to meet and interview a gaucho for potentially filling the role of capitas. But the man who stepped down from the train with his woman, only had one eye, losing the other from a horse kick. And his wife was a nurse, mind you. We drank coffee, spoke, and when the woman smiled falsely, I knew they were just like the old capitas. I smiled, shook their hands, paid their train tickets, and honestly hoped they would never disembark here again or call. Last week, I put new locks on your gates, and all 2,500 acres of you exhaled as if you had been holding your breath for a very long time. Today, I walked the wood near my new home, my new office, my no longer weekend escape from the smog and the noise of the city, my no longer escape from teaching and students, my no longer muse room. I sat on a log to contemplate the sapid scent of eucalypti. I zipped up my polar vest, my leather jacket. I donned my rancher gloves. Then I noticed a pileated woodpecker scrutinizing me. Today, I chased away rabbit hunters from lot number 8. This poem is entitled "The Day a Rabbit Fell Out of a Tree," published on Burning Wood recently this year. In lot 30, near the corn lot, I started shooting parrots out of a eucalyptus. I hit one with my first shot. It crashed through the branches and thudded headfirst on the ground. Then behind me, I heard the flapping of wings and turned around quickly, only to see a rabbit fall out of another tree and thump listlessly upon a root sticking up from the ground. How strange. Was this a sign? If I were ancient Roman, Trojan, or Greek, I'm sure I would believe so. I examined the rabbit. It was limp and still warm. There was no blood, only a long slash like a talon might make on its side, its muscles and ribs exposed. Now, either a hawk dropped it, frightened by my shotgun blast, or Diana of the Woods was playing with me. These last two poems I'm going to read are translations of poems of Argentine poets whom I admire. I've got a chance to read a lot of great poets here, and I love many of them. The list would be very long if I told you all the Argentine poets that I love. But two poets I admire greatly are Jorge Luis Borges and Maria del Mar Estrella. And this first poem is by Jorge Luis Borges, and it's entitled New England, 1967. And this is my translation. These two poems I translated from Spanish to English. I didn't copy this from somebody else. These are originally written in Spanish. They have changed in the forms of my dream. Now they are of light red houses and delicate bronze leaves, and chaste winter and pious wood. Like on the seventh day, the earth is good, and the crepuscular persists something that almost is not, daring and sad. An old rumor of Bible and a war. Soon, they say to us, the snow will arrive and America waits for me on each corner. But I feel in this declining afternoon the so slow today and the so brief yesterday. Buenos Aires, I continue walking on your corners without why or when. And this poem, this last poem I'm going to read for you is by Maria del Mar Estrella, and it's from her first book, and the title of the poem is And Eve Looked at the Boy. And Eve looked at the naked boy in her lap and called him Cain. What a small and trembling body. How pink his skin is. How warm, how sweet smelling. Eve watched him a long time with astonishment, with anxiety. It is the first time she has contemplated a baby, and it is hers. 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 The boy is ugly, and he cries, and he is beautiful. There's nothing so beautiful. With the pain she had bearing him, drunk with love, she kisses him, and she sings softly, Cain, Cain, my son. Before I step down and hand this, Avira steps up again and introduces the next person, I want to thank Loriana, and Alejandro and Ezekiel for preparing the food, Dario and Nicholas, and especially Avila Gonzalez Fraga, my wife, for organizing all of this. And I also like to thank Esther Cross, excuse me, who is going to be who did the translation of this poem when it comes out in the second edition. And I want to leave you with a quote for all of you who have come here tonight. I want to thank all of you here also. This is a quote from a song called Shine a Light, from those semi-geniuses Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. May the good Lord shine a light on you. Make every song your favorite tune. May the good Lord shine a light on you, warm like the evening sun. Thank you.